guys, and welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be making a super delicious, super indulgent Nutella stuffed chocolate chip cookie pie. I'm Eloise, but you probably know me better as Fitwaffle. This cookie pie is one of those desserts that's a real showstopper. You know, when you bring it to a party, people think that you've put a lot of effort into it, but it's actually so easy to make. You only need a few ingredients, like 8 or something. I'll double check that, but it's really easy to make. I'm gonna be showing you all my tips and tricks today, so I really hope you enjoy this video. This is actually one of my most popular recipes on Instagram and in my book as well. So I really hope you enjoy it too, and let's get baking. To start, you need unsalted butter, softened to room temperature. You don't want it to be too runny, like if it's too melted, then your cookie pie is gonna be a lot harder to handle, but I will tell you how to fix that if it does get melted. But you should be able to press into it and make a little indent. It just needs to be squishy. Next, you need light brown sugar. I'm using light brown, like all light brown, because I think it gives a really nice, like toffee, caramelized kind of taste to it, and I really like the soft texture it gives. You can use a combination of granulated and brown sugar if you prefer though. So I'm gonna start by putting these into my bowl, and then what I love about this recipe is you only need one bowl and you don't even need an electric whisk. You can use an electric whisk if you want to be really quick with it, but I actually really like using a wooden spoon or spatula and a hand whisk for this recipe because I just think it gives you a bit more control because I don't want to overmix any of these ingredients. So all I'm doing here is just creaming together my sugar and butter until it forms a paste. Okay, that is looking beautiful. It's really nice and smooth. Everything's come together now. Next, I'm gonna add the egg and vanilla. I'm gonna be adding in 1 large egg at room temperature to help it combine nicely, and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. This vanilla extract is so sticky. It's the Dr. Oetker one. I think it's got the best flavor from the supermarket ones that I've tried, but it's really sticky. So now I'm just gonna fold in the egg and vanilla until just combined. Make sure you scrape the edges. Nice, so everything is perfectly combined now. There's no streaks, there's no bits of eggs left. Now I'm going to add my dry ingredients. We're going to be adding in a lot of flour as this cookie pie needs some structure. It needs to hold its shape. So 320 grams of flour, and then ½ teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda or baking soda if you're from the States. Now I'm gonna fold these in until just combined, so just maybe a couple of streaks of flour left. So make sure you scrape down those edges to get every bit of flour in, and then make sure there's none at the bottom, because I always find there's a little bit at the bottom of my bowl still, even when I think it's all mixed. Great, so that is our cookie dough. Now I'm just going to add the chocolate chips. If you wanted to add white chocolate chips or nuts or something like that, you can. Amazing, so that is our cookie dough done. Now, like I said at the beginning, if your butter was too melted, you can put your dough in the fridge now, and that's gonna help it firm up. Mine is quite a good texture. It's nice and firm. It's not too runny, but it's still quite moldable. So I'm not gonna chill mine because I don't need to. But now you need to take out 1/3 of the dough, which is about, lost the chocolate chip, 330 grams, because the total weight of the dough, we got there eventually, is around 1,000 grams. Now you can just eyeball this because it doesn't have to be 100% accurate, but I'm gonna weigh mine just for the sake of the video, to be honest. See how accurate I am. Oh, that is so close. That is 348 grams, so that will be totally fine, but I will just take out too much. There you go, 330. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to roll this into a ball and I'm gonna set it aside. Obviously, if your surface is clean, just pop it down. So with the rest of the cookie dough, that is gonna be our base and sides. So I have here a 8-inch or 20 centimeter springform cake tin. I'm going to line it with a circular piece of parchment paper, just like that. If you don't have one of those, you can cut out a circular piece, or you don't have to line it. You can just grease it with some butter. So now we have our 2/3 of dough. I find this easiest to use my hands, so I'm just going to press it in, and then I'm gonna make the edges. You're gonna push your cookie dough down so the middle is nice and flat, and then you're going to push the cookie dough up the edges. then we'll neaten it up. If you don't want to get your hands dirty, you could always use a spoon to do this as well. So you want the edges to be around 1/2 centimetre to 1 centimetre thick, and just make them roughly even. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to put Nutella in the middle and then the lid on top. Now we're going to add our fillings. So I'm using Nutella, but you could really use any chocolate hazelnut spread, any chocolate spread, any white chocolate spread. Biscoff is also a great filling. As you guys know, I love Biscoff. I'm using around 350 to 400 grams here. So I'm just scraping this into the center of my cookie pie. Now our Nutella is in our cookie pie, I'm just gonna spread it out to the edges. Now, of course, this is a lot of Nutella. This is, how much does this weigh? This is 950 grams. So there is almost half of this entire jar in this cookie pie. But it's not a cookie pie for one, remember that. Now we're moving on to our lid. So you're going to press this together and you're going to make a disc. So especially if your room is warm like mine is, it's going to be a very floppy disc. So just be gentle with it, and again, it doesn't have to be perfect. So now I'm going to place this onto my cookie pie, like that. Now if you've got overlap like I do here and gaps elsewhere, just take this bit off, separate it and try and fill those gaps. Now, these bits around the edge, basically we're gonna fold them in so they meet the lid in the middle. We're basically just gonna pinch them together like this, try not to squeeze any Nutella out whilst you're doing it. Again, if you do have gaps, you can just take it from the top where it's a bit thicker and just plug those gaps there. Now, I'm just gonna use a clean spoon and I'm just gonna help smooth over any of those lumps or gaps to make it a little bit neater. This is just going to help everything be a little bit more even when it bakes. So what I'm trying to do here is just push those edges down so the middle sits a little bit higher, as the edges will rise when baking. Now the lid is on, all the edges are sealed, there's no gaps. I'm going to add some more chocolate chips to the top. You don't have to do this, but I think it makes it look better. So I'm just going to sprinkle these on. Make sure they're evenly distributed and they don't roll down the edges. If they do start moving about, you can just push them in face down really gently so the tips just hold them in. Perfect, so that's looking really good now. Lots of chocolate chips on the top, just how I like it. I've preheated my oven already to 160 degrees because I have a fan oven. If you don't, then preheat it to 180 degrees. This is gonna go in the oven for about 25 minutes. Give or take, keep an eye on it, see how brown it's getting on the top, okay? Let's go. My cookie pie is out the oven now and I'm really pleased with how it's looking. Now you need to let it cool fully in the tin. I know they're words that you don't want to hear, you want to eat it straight away, but if you cut it now, it might just collapse. And that's fine if you don't mind it just collapsing. But if you want to serve it and if you want it to look really good, then I'd really recommend letting it cool for at least 5 hours to be safe. I tend to leave mine overnight just in case. Okay guys, we are back. The cookie is back. It's nice and cool now, so we're gonna take it out of the tin. That wasn't as difficult as the cheesecake, was it? That was easy. We like cookie pies. Now our cookie pie is on our serving plate. We're going to slice it up. So I'm using a nice sharp knife and this to lift it up. You can lift it up with a knife, but this is a nice shape for a good slice, you know? I'm gonna cut a big slice just to show you guys. You don't have to cut it this big. It is very indulgent. Best served with a scoop of ice cream. This is a huge slice, by the way. I do not recommend cutting your slices this big. How irresponsible of me. Oh, it's all gooey. Oh my gosh, I almost lost it. I'm nervous. Oh, it's so gooey. Oh my gosh. How good does that look? Oh my gosh, I love it. There is so much Nutella in it. It looks so good. Now let's do a taste test. It feels like forever since I've been waiting for this, so I'm really excited to try it. Oh my gosh, this is so much Nutella. I can't even pick it up properly, it's so gooey. Okay, here we go. Cheers. Oh. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so indulgent. You don't need much of it, but it's just so good. So that is the end of today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and let me know if you make the cookie pie or what you put in your cookie pie. If you have any questions about it, just drop them in the comments below and I'll do my very best to get back to you. If you are new here, don't forget to like and subscribe for more recipe videos. Drop your suggestions in the comments section as well, and I'll see you next time. Bye guys. It's messy now. Why am I always shaky when I go to pour this vanilla in? Hold. Just scraping. I always lose a bit. So yes, especially if your warms. If it looks like I'm sweating, it's because I am.